Pizza Panda. What's going on? Not much. Just chilling as the usual course on a Tuesday night. Hoping we get some other people in here with us as we do chill. Um, if everybody could like and share this stream, that's what I'm about to do. I'm about to share it out over on the tweeters, and of course, we're gonna share it in the Discord. And if anybody feels like coming on, of course, feel free. Just try not to do any swearing, and be decent. You know, I think everybody knows what that means. So yeah, what's going on? Well, I went out last night to Toronto with my mom, or yesterday after the show. Went to Toronto to see a documentary put up by Rebel News called Church Under Fire. That was good. Met up with I saw a couple of the people that do the daily stuff and some reporting there. One guy named David Menzies. He's a big comic book fan. So I brought a copy of Canadian Shield and Snowdrift, and I gave him a copy. You know, hopefully he reads it, likes it, and we'll promote it. Always got to have a underlining reason, right? Um, what else can I be saying? Trying to start to talk here about this. Just got finished watching Mike Walters over on his show, The Mike Stand. He was talking about some manga. I'm not sure which one it's called, but it was pretty good. Um, Finally signed up on Tubi so I could actually save stuff into like a favorites type thing. So I went through, put a bunch of anime in there that I'm gonna hopefully watch at some point. Some that I know of, some that I don't. Hey Aqua, how are you? Uh, you know what? And we're getting the fluctuation in the time. How has everybody's week been thus far? I know we're not far into it. Hey Metal, are you coming on or not? Just doing your dab, achoo! Although it's not a sneeze. Although it's elbow cough, elbow. Trying to think of what else to say. Trying to chill, talk about whatever. Um, just finished watching. Today I finished watching the last episode of Archie's Weird Mysteries over on Tubi. There was 40 episodes until when the microwave is ready. Ah, okay. Cool, cool, cool. I get it. Eating, eating, eating. The week has been tiring so far. Back at work now, so missed High Noon show this week. Well, the great thing, if you want, is you can go back and watch it. That's not how you tap. Okay. It's like this or something, right? Dab. But it's Metal uses the elbow cough emoji for the dab. Um, but I know a lot of people don't like going back and rewatching a stream that's a live stream that's a couple hours. So that's no problem if you don't too. Um, and no, I haven't got the fan art done. Hopefully, I'll be able to work on that. I am almost done the remaster of Canadian Shield #1. Will be done the last page hopefully tomorrow sometime. Um, Maybe I'll show that off on Thursday when I'm doing some fan art. Hopefully for the person that I have on tomorrow. Um, yeah, we'll be having interviewing. I'm not sure what his name is offhand. Let's see. Stephen Hurley for RIN, Intergalactic Mercenary. And of course, that's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern for anybody that wants to watch come check that out. Uh, Everyone should always go back and rewatch the Vomitorium at least 3 times to uh, make sure you didn't miss anything, just to be extra safe. Well, that's a good idea for sure, Metal. Good idea, aim for here. And hello, Factor Jaws. Hey, Captain Finity. How are you guys tonight? How's your week been going? Um, Trying to more and more things to. What did I see anything? Do anything? Special. I was trying to think of something that I might have seen recently or whatever. But oh, been keeping watching uh the new Star Trek. It's not too bad. Star Trek: Strange New Worlds. And then also watching the new Disney's things, Secret Invasion. It's not really that great. Hey, Bertha, how are you? Well, Bertha, I will never know because unless I see you in person or somehow by video or whatever, that's the only way that I comment on hotness like that. But we're almost through the Canadian Shield's whatchamacallit, remastered pages for even what's for the shorts. Hey, good night, Spoon. How are you? Can I get your number? I can show you. No, there you've had my email. You can email or you can use Twitter or Facebook. It's pretty much available for anyone for those. Good night, Spoon says, and the good prophet David said, "Ye, time is a piece of wax, falleth on the termite and choketh on thy splinters. Soy on pretadar." Okay. uh, Number is preferable. Well, I don't give out my number. There's only a couple people that I've gotten to know really good on a stream that I've given my actual phone number out to. I don't just give my number out to anybody in the chat, especially that I don't know all that well. Hey, Metal,
Hey, hey, hey.
how are you?
I'm doing fine.
That's good.
Also, do you know the what song Goodnight Spoon is referencing?
No.
It changed it to sound a little more, I guess, Old King's English, but it's "Loser" by Beck.
Okay.
You know. Soy un perdedor. I'm a loser, baby. So why don't you kill me?
Good night, Spoon says, I've got your number. It's one. Yeah, yeah. So how was the vomitorium tonight?
It was fun.
It was there for a couple minutes, as you know, and not as probably much as I would want it to. I don't know,
Yeah.
but you know, so much to do, so little time to do it in. And hello, Jr. Jr's here and does his usual. Hail, Lord Zeno, and hail, Princess Xena. Again, this is Midsummer's Day. Hail.
Mhm.
Well, the Midsummer's thing is new for him, but the Hail, Lord Zeno and Xena, Princess Xena, is his usual greeting for everybody. And Aqua puts a bunch of skull emojis and a laugh out loud in the chat. So Mike was having an interesting article, I guess there. Well, typical type of article that he might read, but that's all right. For the last one, I didn't catch anything earlier. And of course,
Oh, I caught like the very beginning of the Superman thing he was talking about, but I also just really had to take a shower. So I went and did that instead, and I came back when he was like almost done with that other article.
yeah,
I left
uh,
him on the whole time though.
yeah. I didn't. I don't even know which anime or manga it's talking about.
You don't know One Piece? It's actually
Okay. I didn't realize it was One Piece.
yeah, like
Well,
the most popular manga
okay.
ever.
And for that, I should say I know of it. I've heard of it,
hmm
but I don't believe I've ever seen any of it, or I might have seen a clip here or there or whatever. But
Well, don't feel like you need to catch up any time soon. There's over 1,000 chapters.
ah,
And it's not like, manga a lot of times can just be a quick read where you can blow through the 20 pages like nothing. His pages can be kind of dense. Sometimes he's got like 5 conversations going on the same page.
oh wow, that's definitely interesting. Actually, that's well. I was telling other people. I'm not sure whether you heard. I was going through. I finally did this sign up thing for Tubi, the free sign up thing, so you can, save things to a favorite list.
Yeah, yeah, I saw that. I heard you talking about that when I was popping this in the microwave.
Uh, yeah. So I put whole bunch of manga. Well, technically, I guess it's anime. It's not mangas
Yeah.
on my list. Some that I know of, some that I don't. So hopefully, and I put some other stuff that I know of, that I like, and some other older shows. There's more still that I'm probably going to put on my favorites, but you know, and of course they've got some stuff on there, like they've got Naruto, but unfortunately it's only like subbed or not subbed at all, and it's like, sorry. I only go for the dubbed, and I know it's probably better to go subbed, but I can't read that fast,
You're
and
just
I
the
don't.
only thing you're gonna hear is Rasengan.
And otherwise, you're stopping it every 5 seconds to read it, and then it's semi-enjoyable, but not as enjoyable as it could be, you know. So, and they've got a real lot of anime on there too, Tubi. So some that I don't even know what it is, a lot of it. It's like, okay, does this look good? Does this not look good? Especially for the stuff that said dubbed, and some of it you don't know whether it's dubbed or not either because it doesn't say. Because
I have no problem reading and keeping up with the subtitles.
yeah,
I also don't have a problem generally just watching unsubbed like well it's like because I don't know exactly what's going on, but my Japanese is enough that with context clues I can at least tell you what's going on. I might not
yeah.
know the details, like I'll probably miss like 80% of the words, but at least I could tell you what's going on.
Well, that's good. That's way better than me. Joshua says it gets good in season. Oh, I'm not even sure what that number is. Whether there's a million, billion. Well, I know it's higher than million. Pretty sure it's higher than billion. It's
It's
probably
300 billion.
okay. So
I
what?
counted the order of magnitude.
Yeah. Okay, I was thinking it might have been trillion, but in the trillions. Yeah, I think Metal's got the dog in the background.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm house sitting. I try to mute, but when I'm not talking, but
Oh
he
yeah,
just goes
yeah,
off. He's an old dog. There's nothing you can do about it.
yeah. I think you were saying that last week that you're going to be house sitting, so you bring your whole rig over, right? So you can do what you do.
Not the whole thing, but most of it.
Yeah,
I don't have like my second monitor or anything like that.
Hey
yeah.
guys.
Hey, Mike, how are you?
All right. So I guess you guys did continue a bit of the anime discussion there.
Yeah, a little bit. Talked about it for a few seconds about having watched your stream and that you were talking about it, and talked about.
I was talking about the whole thing with the whole Yamato situation on One Piece there specifically. That story's been going on the last few months ever since apparently it's been something that's been kind of off and on the last 2 or 3 years here because there's been whether or not Yamato is a female or they're a transgendered man. But the creator
it's really
themselves
simple,
supposedly came out and said she is female. So
yeah, Yamato is a female who identifies as a man, a very specific man, right? It's not even that Yamato identifies as herself as a man. She is trying to live as the fallen Thunderlord Odin, right? And wants to live in his life, kind of mimics his mannerisms and stuff like that. So she is living as a man, and all of her crew refer to her that way too. But that's it's a difference between like what a character thinks versus the narration. I think a lot of people have problems with this. Right?
Yeah, and probably the character knows she's female.
Well, yeah, and she's only being encouraged by her dad, who obviously wanted a son, right? Because he needs an heir. He's one of the four what are they? The emperors or whatever, the final kings or whatever. But
yeah, 4 emperors.
Yeah. The real thing here though is a narrator, which is what Oda is supposed, unless she's unreliable, isn't supposed to tell you what a character thinks from his perspective, only when it's the character's perspective. From the narrator's perspective, he's only supposed to tell you the reality of the situation.
Yeah. Let's see. JR says, I used to be a sub snob for regular movies. Then I got old and couldn't read fast enough.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of that same way. That's why I prefer, even though I'm not too, ever since the whole thing went down with Vic and all that with them, I'm not like as people, I'm not a big fan of many of the formerly Funimation, I guess now Crunchyroll VAs. As people, they're obviously pieces of but I can still respect their acting ability, their voice acting ability. But actually, one of the things I wanted to also ask Metal, because there was a term in there when I read today's article and the article yesterday about the actress who was doing that too. So they say that, I guess, Yamato identifies in Japanese as what they call a bokuko?
Yeah.
What exactly is a bokuko?
Bokugo is basically a woman who's deciding to live the man's role. That doesn't mean that the person thinks they're a man, but they're living the man's role, right? So that's like a woman who becomes like a salary man, or if she does get into a gang, she'll be with the bancho. She won't be with the women and stuff. It's specifically, I will live a man's life, right? Which in a lot of ways to the modern activist would sound like what they think is trans, but like there's a very cultural distinction that's very different for them.
Anyways, JR went on to say, couldn't read fast enough without missing the action going on. Also, I think dubs have generally improved in quality. Good Night Spoon says, the show the pupper for views. The dog for views. That's more to Metal. That's up to Metal. JR says, I'm an old man now, demanding good dubs. And Dillard's here in the chat and says hello. Hey, Dillard, how are you doing? How's your week going?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, at one point, right, back when you had, not just you had Toonami, but you also had a number of the cable stations in the States, like Sci-Fi, HBO Max, and you had all these different cable stations airing anime, even if it was only for 1 or 2 hours here and there. IFC, as I got into it, I identify like six main, what I call dub capitals, right? So the six dub capitals would have been like Dallas with Funimation, Houston with ADV at the time. Now they're Sentai. New York, formerly with 4Kids and later TPCI, Central Park Media. Now Headline. Now you got TPCI still doing the Pokemon stuff, but Headline Studio's been doing more of the dubbing there. Here in California and LA with Bang Zoom and Viz, even though they have the corporate offices up in San Francisco, Viz will do a lot of their recording stuff out of Studiopolis out in LA. And then you got the two Canadian, you got Ocean Studios, which is based in Vancouver, and then its subsidiary, Blue Water, in Calgary. Albeit Blue Water hasn't been active in, I'd say, about 5 or 6 years. Orange is still kind of active, but I think Orange has also moved on to doing more animated works in Canada. I know they still will do the Canadian dubs for like Dragon Ball. That's one of the things I've heard. Again, going back to that whole thing about getting the tax breaks if you use Canadian talent and all that. But the thing that makes me look at that whole situation with the Yamato thing, right? That just is so incredibly stupid is that the creator of the character explicitly said they're female. That should be the end of the argument right there.
Yeah.
And I know the arguments they would like, oh, well, by doing that he's being transphobic, this, that, and that thing. Well, but I know one thing you guys were talking about, or one thing I think I saw, or something like that, Ivankov, right? Oh, that's right. That was Metal's comment from my chat on my stream earlier about when 4Kids did the dub of One Piece, and they just made Ivankov just an ugly woman because they didn't think Americans could handle somebody dressing in drag like that. But then again, one of the points I think I made, and I don't know if you'd already left the stream or if you caught what I said in response to that, Metal. 4Kids, much like some other companies did in the past, when they're like trying to adapt an anime for children, the term that they used back in the 70s for it is they would powderize it. They take out as much of the adult content as possible without affecting the story too much. A classic example of this, of course, is Science Ninja Team Gatchaman Battle of the Planets.
Yeah.
And,
okay. Just give me a sec. Good night, Spoon.
Yeah, it's the older definition of the term whitewashing.
Yeah. Yeah. So basically, though, I just I was, as I said, thinking about talking about this on Sunday on my show, but if we get it all out now, that's cool too. Then we just move on to other things. But the reason, of course, there's kind of been a big story. The last number of people have been talking and covering it. I know Hero Hay has, a few Vera Dark, I think. Well, and I know Vera Dark also covered the My Adventures of Superman story that I covered earlier.
Yeah.
And apparently, I guess there are a lot of people who are not happy with that series.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah. Okay, let me catch up with the chat. Good night, Spoon says, I see you have forsaken the Gospel of David. He said that before he said good night. Timothy's here, and he says, what's up? Not much at the moment. I saw your little argument, or whatever you want to call it, with Mike Wheeler. There, bit funny on his part.
Oh God, not this bit again. We were talking about this the other night too, where Mike Wheeler was going after Fanta. Is this an extension of that, Rick?
I think so in a sense. Anyways, thanks to Goodnight pointing this out. I do not. When I said hello, Dillard, I don't think it's the Dillard draws because there's no wrench. So, but the Dillard draws that is in the chat says my week's going good so far. Yeah, no problem, Tim. I get that. I'm just saying I saw it. And then yes, Timothy said earlier, "Oh yeah." And then Timothy also said, "How's Yellow's Flash books coming along?" But of course, that Dillard can't answer it because it's not the Dillard. Uh,
Rick, won't you be joining? Won't you be joining E. Dillard this September?
yes, in September 16th, I will be going to Comic Con, Christian Comic Con down in LA, and I will be staying with Dillard till I leave on the 18th. And I think I get there about if I go with the one that I was planning on, all that, I should be getting there about the 13th. Um,
Yeah, you said it was that the convention was being held at a church in Whittier, California, actually, right?
yeah, I believe so. I can't remember offhand.
So that will be near my neck of the woods, then. So
Yeah.
I might pop in to say hi.
Goodnight Spoon says that's still not Dillard, and I'm in awe that none of you figured out who it is.
No, I'm choosing not to give it the time of day.
Yeah. Mighty Geek Studios is here, and he says hello, everyone. Oh yeah, sorry about last night, Mighty Geek. Starting next Monday, as I was saying earlier when you probably weren't here, I was out of town for last night, and I forgot that I was going to be out of town for that for the first for the Monday. But starting next week, Mondays at 8, I'm going to be doing a draw stream with whoever wants to join in. It'll be me, hopefully Mighty Geek, maybe Chris from
So in essence, you're kind of taking over what Chris and Diana were doing on Mondays, much like
Yeah.
I took over what RJ Carter was doing.
Sort of. Me, Mighty Geek, and Chris did start it up. It was supposed to be on Saturdays, and it was supposed to be a rotation between our 3 channels. And then it ended up getting switched to Mondays and just stuck on Hero Shack channel, Chris's channel. And since Diana doesn't want to do it anymore, I figured, I want the view time anyways. Maybe I'll just pick it up and have it host it. I can easily read the chat and draw and all that. I've done it enough. So
I hope you'll schedule it at a time to where guys can still come by and say hi to me and catch up on some of the stuff I'm talking about.
Well, as I just said, I'm planning to do it from 8, and we're all just like on Diana's. We're only gonna do it for about an hour. Might go a couple minutes over. You know how things are. So we'll be ending around 9, so I can, direct people over to your chat if they're in mind at that point on Monday night.
And I think I even helped a little bit directing people over.
Here, yeah, tonight.
All right. Well, I'm gonna go grab a little snack, and then when I get back, I've got to try to catch up on a number of the subscriptions that I haven't watched yet. On my stuff, I got a lot. I got like 20 videos from notifications that I have to check at the very least, see which ones I need to watch and just get caught up with. So. Anyways, thanks for having me for the few minutes here, and hopefully I'll see you guys tomorrow. And of course, tomorrow unless he doesn't have an article up for it, I will most likely be doing the Indie Comics Showcase from Chris Braley's Bleeding Fool. So
cool.
So just to give you guys a heads up on that. Anyways, I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay, later, Mike.
Okay,
have a good night.
Bye. You too.
Okay. To catch up. I don't want to talk about. Yeah, I think I covered that. No, he's moved on to Anthony. Okay, I'm not sure who Anthony is. Timothy said he did inspire a one-page parody comic called Ma Moobs. Okay. Timothy says as a bonus story for Z and Odi. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong. Zed and Odious. Hey Jeff,
Odysseus.
Odysseus. Yeah.
Yeah.
Aqua's here and says I feel like the fakes here should be timed out. What do you think about that? Nah, we can let them stick around. They don't usually cause too much problems. Plus, then I'd have to time out all my chat. I think they all got fake accounts. Although, and well, Joshua obviously has the most parody accounts of everybody.
Yeah, but I don't think they're fake. I think
Yeah.
they're just like Joshua's moods.
Yeah. JR says, I completely regret not getting off my butt to share breakfast and buy some signed comics when you made it to Edmonton. Any plans on a convention in Edmonton itself? Um, yeah, moobs instead of boobs. Yeah. Um, yeah, man boobs. There. It's all about man boobs instead of women boobs. I would definitely like to. I'm not sure what the thing is for the next year for Edmonton. Um, like I said, the big thing is in Edmonton is well, there's two things: a the transportation, and then staying somewhere for a couple days. But I think you had offered at some point. Let me see. You're wondering about Edmonton. Let's see. See whether there's any Edmonton Comic Cons coming up or when they and how much they are. And most likely, I do if I did a there's a Edmonton Comic Con, and if you wanted, I they usually give you two badges. I could easily, um, give you one, and you could come in with me for free. Well, the Edmonton Expo is in like 65 days. It's in September when I'm actually going to be down in LA area with Dillard. So I don't know when their one next year will be or if they have other ones. So for Edmonton, it will I guess it just depends on, scheduling, maybe Calgary might be a different time of year when it does not quite in fighting whatever I'm doing because I'd like to be able to do the yeah I could put you up for a couple days and I live right beside the subway system. Oh, that's great, great cup. It's going to be funny. Oh, I'm moves says Captain Finity. No, it's about uh two losers who obsess over a creator they don't like. So they make a terrible comic. I'm in, says Captain Finity. You had me at two losers. Timothy says it's going to be funny. Yeah, great Cap. Yeah, I read that. Okay, mod. I have no idea what Aqua's trying to say there. So what were we talking about? I don't know.
I'm a loser, baby, so why don't you kill me?
But yeah, like I said, hopefully maybe next year in September, since that seems to be when their one is. Maybe I can make it in September of next year out that way. There's two or three. I think Expo is the largest. I think they will have William Shatner one last time as the back. Yeah. Yeah, like I'm not opposed to going to smaller ones, If for me, it's just like getting the cost down. That's the biggest problem about going to cons, especially well, even where I am. Like there's a smaller company that does cons called Pop Culture Canada. They have a whole bunch over Ontario, Southern Ontario, and a little bit further north. And Fortunately, getting to them can be hard or it's expensive. Especially it's like a 2 hour if it's a 2 hour drive, but the buses don't go there on a even decent regular basis. They go there and back, and that's you end up having to stay over a night or two for something that if you had a car would you know you'd be able to just go there and back on the same day. Timothy says, made Rick forget, cross that off my bucket list. You made me forget what?
That's not much of a feat,
Yeah.
especially when you're streaming. You forget stuff all the time.
And I'm not sure whether it was so much you making me forget what we were talking about. I think it was more Mike. No offense to him, but that's all right. Aqua's like tender chicken, and Timothy's like, nah, extra crispy.
Oh, I know what we're talking about. You're gonna get started on watching 1,000 episodes of One Piece very soon.
Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, hopefully a bunch of different animes. I might make it through some of the older cartoons like GI Joe and all that, or Mask and all that. Um, that I watched a little bit as kids, but I would like to see episode by episode. Timothy's like, "Don't ruin this for me, Metal." Damn, says Timothy. JR says, "Yeah, you're in a populated part of the continent. Lots of cities between Toronto and Montreal to New York. Yeah, but yeah, it's wanting to get to more cons is a thing. It's unfortunate when you don't have a car and don't have a driver's license, you know, or somebody that has a car and a driver's license that would be willing to take you. You know, it's a pain. Yeah, I know GI Joe runs endlessly on YouTube. JR. The only problem is, like I said, I want to watch it by episode by episode, in the order that they were released. So
So you'd have to like catch the stream when it starts a new cycle,
yeah,
whenever that is.
yeah, and then you'd have to do it every time you want to start it back up. Yeah, well, car is only half the problem or a quarter of the problem. There's also getting my license and then being able to afford the insurance for it, which would be crazy for me if I got my
Oh,
license because
you only need a license if you get caught.
true, very very true. But yeah, I'd like to especially get to more cons. I don't know how that's gonna happen. Well, I'm getting to quite a few this year. Um, Obviously, it was this past Saskatoon. And then I was to a couple other. Was it to any other ones this year? I don't think I was to any other ones this year. And then, of course, September, I'm going to be, what, 4 cons almost in a row? Um, I won't count the Supercrawl because it's not a con. But we'll have Alpha Omega Con. What's the name of it? Hamilton Comic Con. Then God, God Comics and Gaming. con that's in Minneapolis. Anybody know anybody close to Minneapolis that I could stay with for a night or two?
No, closest person I know to in Minneapolis is like halfway between there and Fargo, so it's like a 5-hour drive, and that's a buck.
uh, uh, yeah, because there, I'm trying to decide whether to get to Detroit and take a plane there and back, or not. The only problem with that is the low quality plane trips for that. You're only allowed to take a personal item on and not personal item and a carry on, which and you got to pay for the carry on, and that's extra money and all that. So
Timothy asks, "What about Idaho?" Well, I guess you could stay with like Mr. Potato Head in Idaho, because
yeah,
I think
no,
that's like the only people that are there.
well, no, I think Tim's there. I'd love to come to Idaho. Massive says, even though it's inconvenient not having a car, I kind of admire people who don't have to waste a third of a paycheck on a monthly car note and gas and insurance. Just a trade-off, I guess. Yeah, it is.
No, yeah, you'd be surprised how far I can walk
Yeah.
in
Oh,
a decent amount of time.
yeah. I take the bus. Oh, well, I was taking the bus a lot. Well, now that it's summer, I've been actually walking a lot of places in the city a lot more often. Uh, and Aqua says, "Bro, my dirty uncle fondled my butt cheeks last night. Is that normal?" I don't think so. I'm not sure whether that's too much information or not. Jared says, Jason of Sci-Fi and Me is a Christian YouTuber who covers comics. He's in Kansas City. Oh, cool, cool, cool. Maybe I should uh, get in touch with him, especially next time I've got a comic coming up. Although I might have a comic coming up soon, sort of the remastered of Canadian Shield 1. I am, as I said earlier, on the last page, finally, the last 4 panels. Um,
Well, you have to clarify too, which Kansas City?
uh, Timothy, I thought we were buds. But oh no, you want to hang out in California. Hey, I would come and hang out with you. It's
Like, is it Kansas City, Missouri, or Kansas City, Kansas? Because like Kansas is all right. You don't want to go to Missouri.
define normal Aqua. Yeah, because some things that are becoming Aqua. Some things that were once weren't normal are somehow becoming normal. Sort of reminds me of something said in the Bible, but we won't go into that right now. Well, are there any cons coming up in Idaho? But I'm not a hoe. I don't know why I keep saying Idaho when I'm not the hoe. Timothy's normal is right next to a huge question mark. And anybody out there that wants to come on, feel free to join. I think you all know the rules. Try not to swear and be a decent
Well, I
person.
think, given the fact that Aqua is asking if it's normal, means that they can't define normal. They need somebody else to define it for them.
Yeah. Timothy says, let me check. But then, Timothy, would you have the ability to put me up for a couple days if I came to wherever the con was?
I don't think his arms are that strong.
Me neither. Jared says, Potato Queen Con. Yeah, I'm not sure what I'm doing next year for cons. Well, I'm going to do Hamilton Comic Con. I'd like to do another one out west, somewhere out west in thing in Canada. Either I'm thinking in Alberta, either Calgary or Edmonton, or maybe even in BC somewhere. Timothy says, "I'm sure you can sleep on the floor with the dog." Well, the couch would be slightly better, but I could make do on the floor. Or is the couch just for the dog? So, I know Hero Shack, I think, was asking me, Chris from Hero Shack was asking me about being on the, well, I'm normally on the panel on Wednesday night, but there might be doing something about stuff on crowdfunding tomorrow. I guess the joys and pitfalls of it, if you will. So that should be interesting. Come on, Rick. You can think of more stuff to talk about. We've only talked for 45 minutes approximately.
Oh, are you struggling?
So I get on a little bit of a rant about whatever and this, that, and everything, and then I run out because I.
Yeah.
Well, that's normally me, right?
Yeah. Well, not a physical con, but I'm going to be attending Digital Festival again.
Oh yeah,
Newground Summer Festival is coming up again on the 25th of August.
Yeah, I might. Do you have to sign up like you did before for that, or do you just like go in?
You're already in the Discord, so I think you're fine.
Okay.
As long as you don't leave the Discord, you're fine. You don't have to reapply again. Because remember, the main reason that they made you apply in the first place is because of the not safe for work level material that's in Newgrounds. They want to make sure there's no minors in there.
Yeah.
So if you've already been vetted, you're good.
Okay. Yeah, I might try and check that out that weekend. That's well, just over a month from now, of course. And we're gonna actually have Tim on Wednesday night at 5 o'clock. Well, hopefully 5, depending on his schedule, whether he can get here. He's coming on August 9th. And we're gonna be going over Melvin 3. I haven't got anybody for next week, but I do have somebody that said they'd be on this week. I might end up contacting somebody else this week, in the next couple days for next week. Okay, Tim said he took a screenshot and sent it to your DMs on Twitter. For where I'd sleep or the cons in Idaho?
Yes.
Both, right? JR says, "Are you really in Idaho?" JR says, "Oh, Rick, have you ever had a doctrinal questions come up with the Canadian Shield?" I'm not quite sure what you mean. I think I might, but if you can, just clarify what you mean, JR. Good Night Spoons. It says, "If you run out of things to talk about, you can ask me how my personal life development is going." Okay, how is your personal life development going?
No, Rick, it's a trap.
Yes, of course it's a trap. The con in Idaho, says Tim. Either have you had to review Doctrine to write the action in the Shield, or have readers asked doctrinal points? I wouldn't say any readers have asked about doctrinal points yet. Obviously, that probably could come up. Um, and I think I
Well,
usually
I could tell you that current church doctrine does not condone launching trees into space.
it doesn't condone, but it doesn't reject it either. You know, it's no worse than knocking a tree down for whatever reason. Kid Night Spoon says, "That's none of your business, Rick. That's personal. Really
It's
personal."
really personal. Told you it was a trap.
Yeah. Um. Either have you had to review Doc? Well, since I've overseen most of it. For the Shield after like issue 2, I'm the one basically writing it. I've written like probably 90% of my scripts. So, um, I haven't had any real problem with that. Obviously, um, when I get really started, I actually have other writers, although I've technically had some other writers at this point. But on a more regular basis, I would definitely probably be, I'd probably be doing a review of the script or having somebody that I trust do that. Uh, Good Night Spoon says, "Okay, you both called my bluff. It's going well." Well, that's good. Good Night Spoon. Now discuss the merits of uh, whatever typology and its relationship with written characters. And then says, "Tell me your whatever gram type."
I see that Goodnight Spoon watches Local Script Man.
I thought you were going to say more to that, but I guess not.
No, that's it.
Okay. Jared says, "Does the Shield have a position on predestination or transubstantiation?" I would say not at this time. The Shield got saved, and he's in his time, obviously, and he was. I think he would have been living as a Christian for a couple years in that time. Uh, but back then, well, they probably did get into that a bit, but he probably wouldn't have been in a position where he would be getting into a lot of that. Um, because his position in life back then, and well, he's yet to get really into a lot of that in modern day. I'm not sure whether I will deal with something like that with him or not. I'm not sure. I can't say I won't. I can't say I will because, you know, I don't know completely what the future holds. Um, I know, and I haven't really done a lot of it with the Shield. I wanted to address a lot of differences between, say his time and our time, good and bad for both. And probably with Snowdrift, I wanted to deal with that again, something I haven't done. Yeah, but you know, uh, I might end up dealing more with that when Shield gets into Hamilton on a regular basis. He's he's got to have time to settle in, and he's on the journey, so he hasn't had a lot of time to take it all in, if you will. Really know where society's at and all that. I guess. Goodnight Spoon says, "I do not watch that channel, but I will if you link it in the chat." And of course you do. Timothy says, "He became a Christian to get back at his dad." No, he did not. Goodnight Spoon says, "Thanks, Metal. I will listen to it listen to it tomorrow at work.
Yeah,
So,
I like Local Script Man. I think it's a good channel. I don't always agree with him from a writer's perspective, but writing is, I mean, all arts are disciplines and sciences, but writing is a very subjective discipline that can work many other ways. And while I don't think the Enneagram typing is useful for writing, the way that he writes, I could very much see why he finds it useful.
here, JR, I'm gonna give you. Well, you can, if you want to keep it, just let me know. But I'm gonna give you a. Oh, I'm in the wrong place to do that. I'm gonna give you a wrench so you can link that channel that you were talking about earlier. Okay. Add as moderator. Standard save. Aqua's putting a bunch of different things in the chat. M-gram type. I don't even know what the M-gram stuff is, so I couldn't answer that. JR says, could you discuss what action has been defined? Could you discuss what action has been defined by a version of Christianity? What makes this book different? I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that. The discussing what action um, has been defined by a version of Christianity. Not sure what you mean by a version of Christianity, I guess.
There are many versions of Christianity.
Yeah. Trees get thrown up in the air, says Timothy. And Aqua did a long wow. And he did a lot of lines or something like that. Before that, I'm not sure exactly what. I could say that in my universe, probably for the most part, things have gone the same way in our universe, except I think I will take out the whole COVID and um, lockdown type stuff at the moment, and probably some other things that are going on right now too. It's none of my business, Rick. It's really personal. Says Goodnight Spoon. Then why did you ask? I don't even know how to determine my M-gram type.
Well, like all of these things, you have to take a test that may or may not be reliable.
Oh, okay. Well, we've done that before on here.
I think this is. I don't think you've taken this one. Maybe. I
Yeah.
know you did the Myers Briggs, but I don't. I don't think you've done this one.
Oh, yeah. Probably not. Good night, soon says. But you could do a test on a slow night when I'm not sleeping. I guess. Good idea, Metal. And he links it. I keep forgetting. I gotta go over to YouTube to do something like this or load it. Now, I should say in the chat. Okay, Uh, uh, hey, I'm messaging on my phone. What actions of your characters have been motivated by the version of Christianity in your comic? Um, if your book characters were Christians, what would they do different? Well, I I guess we can take Canadian Shield with that. Obviously, if he wasn't Christian, he would not be in the present day because he wouldn't have been in church praying that prayer. You know that got him to be um, transported through time, if you will. So he wouldn't be the shield. So he'd be back his time, and he'd probably be following the native beliefs. Uh, will your characters interact with non-Christians or even more fun followers of other types of Christianity in the books or books? Um, for sure. In Canadian Shield number 3, You're going to be introduced to a officer, a police officer, police detective that he's going to be in constant contact with, probably every episode. Me, at first, it will be by phone. At first they're meeting person to person because he let Canadian Shield stay with him for a few days after the events in number 2. Now I'm not sure how long a few days is, whether it's literally a few days or more, because we know the time in between comic books can be completely whacked. Sometimes it's like mere seconds, sometimes it's can be, a few days or a month or whatever. So I'm not sure where that is. Um, Now, all the main characters will probably have a slightly different view for Christianity. And I'm not sure how much I'm going to get into that with them, but I'm sure it'd be neat for some conflict between characters, especially heroes. I know there's going to come a time, I'm calling it the Year of Hell. Um, my one character, the Wiz, is going to get a little bit too big for his britches, if you will. And he's going to be kicked off the team and sort of uh, ostracized by the Christian community or the Christian hero community. Um, I'm not sure how that's all going to play out because that's like 5-6 years down the road. Let's see. Goodnight Spoon says, if you were a flask, what kind of flask would you be? Oh, hey, Alpha. Happy birthday, Cross Comics. Well, thank you, Alpha. It's a few weeks old, but thank you anyways. Um, Timothy's, I think they mean what principles in the Bible is he following? JR says, just throwing this out there, maybe a big evil in the book, a secret order of Jesuits from Quebec seeking to destroy Canada. Um, the rogue Joker should be a secret Jesuit priest. Yeah. Um, I've obviously got. I'm gonna have characters from the occult and in there that my characters battle, and I'm not sure whether I've set up any Jesuit priests, but dang, I'm late. No problem. It was just back on June 24th, so you're not too late. You're only like what, 2 weeks late, something like that. And of course, I'm gonna have some cults in there too, and all that they battle. Even issue 4, issue 5, I think it is. Canadian Shield's gonna be battling a demon.
Well, everybody knows there's only one cult that matters.
The Cult of Raven.
Hail Raven.
Yeah, what have you been saying? That kind of traps the devil in them. Metal. Searing.
Said if I was a flask, what kind of flask would I be? It's the kind that traps devils in them. Get in the flask.
And better late than never, Alpha. Joshua says, "Hail Raven." Good Night Spoon says, "Hip flask. I forgot about that. Much better answer." And he said he would have said, whatever, Ellesmere or Erlenmere. So I'm not sure whether I'm answering your question good, JR.
Rick.
Pardon?
Arine Meyer flask.
Aaron Meyer.
It's that kind of almost conical shaped flask that you see in laboratories, where it's like fatter at the bottom than it is at the top.
Oh, okay. But I must admit, probably at first, I'm going to be trying to stay away from a lot of the controversialness of the various denomination stuff, because I don't want to ostracize too many denominations out there. Because if you say one thing bad about one, they just get all in a tiffy. Sometimes the Christian church can be as bad as some SJWs out there. Hello, Tease VR. How are you? As for what? And I was about to say before I got asked the question by JR. I brought up the test page. How long is the test, Good Night Spoon? Religious Royal Rumble, says Timothy. And frankly, no, we know this, that they can be that bad because they did a lot of this, the stuff FJWs are doing now back in like the 70s and 80s and earlier.
Man, I'm surprised there's not a religious Royal Rumble every Sunday here in Texas. Like, because you could be so close to like churches just on the same block or corners each other from completely different denominations. Like right around the corner in this area, I saw a Presbyterian church next to an Anglican church, and then I was asking myself, why is the Church of England here in Texas in the first place?
Teast VR says, "I'm doing fantastic. Saw your stream and thought I'd stop in." Well, thank you. Hope you like what you see and might consider subscribing and all that. I do comic books, and my friend here does comic books too. This is sort of an open panel night. Whoever wants to come on, as long as I just have the thing. Try not to swear. We try not to have much drama, or if any drama at all, and just try and be decent person. If you're coming on air. But Metal's been coming on with me for I don't know how long, so I never have to worry about him.
Until you've slipped completely into a false sense of comfort and security.
Time to ban Metal. And a lot of the people that come on do comics, some don't, but we just hang about on Tuesday night, talks about whatever. I do some comic stuff on other streams and all that. So, if you have any questions, feel free to ask either of us. I'm sure we'll both try to answer the best of our abilities. Good Night Spoon says, "Oh nuts! I was thinking I was a Kelvin bottle. It's not even a flask. I'm switching my my answer to hip
Did you just
flask.
call a Klein bottle a Kelvin bottle?
I guess."
Yeah, there are about 4,000 churches in the DFW area.
Alpha Proto says there are 200 churches in my city of 30,000 people. I don't know how many there are in my city. There's lots, and we have like 500,000 people, so over 500,000 people. Let's you just let random people on your show. But hey, it's through my Discord, and if they want to cause a problem, I can be over to Discord quick and kick them. Or Metal's probably a little bit closer, and I think he has the authorities to do that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I do.
Since I've got my OBS up here. I've got, but you're probably
Oh, I
right.
remember. Who was it? Somebody hopped in. I don't. I don't remember who it was, but somebody hopped in and started spamming stuff from. They had Nitro, so they were using their soundboard, and it was just coming up on your end. So I went in there and I disabled the soundboard for your entire server.
Uh, hey, like I'm willing to let people come on, and like if they, show themselves trustworthy. I've invited a few people on the first time I saw them in the chat. I did that with Rising. Like one of the first times I saw him in the chat. I've done that with Goodnight Spoon. I don't even. I
Well, you can't
think.
say no to Risey. He's a force of nature.
Yeah, but this was before anybody really even knew Rising.
Well, he was still a force of nature before you knew it. I mean, that'd be like saying no to Zeus.
Yeah. Let's see. Goodnight Spoon says it's an internet test. I assume it is the length of the average internet goer's attention span, 10 minutes. Anybody who wants, let's see whether we can see who wants me to do this enneagram test or whatever. Live on air right now. If you do, let's put a 1 in the chat. It's better for you to take the test with Metal around to explain the confusing questions. Are you saying I'm stupid?
I don't know if one of these tests are good, right? Which there's very few good ones around there. Then if the question is confusing to you, that's part of the test, and that will help. Your answer would still help decide what the answer would be, like the whole result.
Okay. And of course,
Again, assuming it's a good one.
And of course, I'm just trying to tease Goodnight Spoon.
But also, a good test for any model will have 100 or more questions, so it's probably not a good one.
No, I have not studied for this alpha. The Goodnight Spoon just brought it up about 10 minutes ago. So, I figured it would give something to do on the stream. Give some talking points while going through it. Alpha puts a square, I think, not a 1. So
It's pronounced oolong tea test. I could oolong tea gram test. I could go for some oolong tea. It's my favorite type tea, but I haven't been to the Hong Kong market long enough to pick some up.
yeah, I want to get to going back to another topic. I would like to get to a bunch of different Comic Cons throughout the states. I'd like to get to one in the Dallas, Texas area. Meet up with Metal. wherever Marsupial is there too. We got 2 people saying, yeah, take the test. There's two
Well,
people in.
Marsupial's in the general Phoenix area, but he comes to Texas for cons sometimes. Like he comes
Yeah,
here for Anime Matsuri, which I can't make it this year, but maybe one year we could all just meet up at Anime Matsuri instead. You know, it's down in Houston. There's a Houston International Airport there.
yeah, yeah. It's just like my big thing about the air. I don't mind flying. In fact, I loved it first time, and I'd like to do it more. It's just semi expensive, and I like more the ones like WestJet. I'm not sure that you guys have heard of them, or
Yeah,
the ones that allow you to, bring at least one personal item and one not checked, carry on.
yeah.
Because you can get a fair if you do it right, you can get a fair amount of stuff on with those too, and don't need a checked bag. I just take the ones that you have to pay the extra for.
Yeah.
Uh, Alpha says there is a Hong Kong market in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Yeah, so there's a plaza in Grand Prairie, Texas called the Asia Times or Square, I think is the name of it. Yeah, Asia Times Square. And the largest building in the Asia Times Square is the Hong Kong Marketplace, which is a basically Asian international import market. It's like a big grocery store.
Alpha
There's also a
Pro.
lot of little restaurants and cafes and shops and stuff there. Even one of those like Vietnamese massage parlors.
Alpha Proto says Anime Matsu is a long drive from the Dallas Fort Worth area. Also, Houston is super humid in the summer.
Dallas super humid in the summer. It was like 100 degrees out and 50% humidity today.
Good night soon. You can have the final battle of the harem manga at Anime Matcha Slurry. Matt Slurry.
But yeah, Houston is a pretty long drive from DFW. I've made it several times. But like, it's not. It wouldn't be any real difference for you, Rick, because I think that's like an extra half hour to the flight if you route that way instead. So it's just like it's whatever if you're coming in by plane.
Yeah, or bus. It'd probably be no
Oh,
worse.
bus, then it's gonna be an extra like 4-ish hours.
Yeah, but if I'm coming from here, I could, do well unless it's more south of Dallas Fort Worth. But you know, I
Yeah,
could.
no, it's south. It's along the Gulf Coast.
Okay,
It's really south. Yeah.
but depending on the angle that the bus takes, instead of going all the way over to Dallas Fort Worth, or I think you get what I mean. But then again, I don't know the geography of the area, so I'm only going based on very little information.
Yeah.
The heat is usually dry up here, says Alpha.
Well, I
Okay.
think like even in DFW, it depends where you are in DFW, right? Because there's a lot of lakes and there's a very big river in DFW called the Trinity River. So if your actual like local city or neighborhood is near one of these lakes, it is humid. I happen to live right next to Lake Joe Pool, no matter what city I'm staying in, because I live around that area and it's always humid for me.
Okay, so here is that test. It's a alpha set. It's just a lot of overcast, like it wants to rain, but the clouds get burned up. The Enneagram test marks each statement based on how well you describe your personality. I strive for perfection. I'd say I'm about in the middle. I work hard to be helpful to others. Somewhat. It's important to me that other people like me. Am I like right in the middle there? I think I'm in the middle. It's important for me to achieve great things. Yeah, somewhat. Although I don't always do what I should. Rick, I looked at the test. It has some really good questions for you. What is this test for? Ask Goodnight Spoon or Metal. They may know. I'm not quite sure.
It's basically the alchemist's personality test.
I make more significant contributions than the average person. Middle. I feel I feel my emotions very deeply. Eh, green
Yeah.
card work visa.
Well, it is a self-report test, so none of us can tell you how you should answer any of these questions.
Yeah, I'm trying to be honest. They give you 5 spots, and trying to figure out
Yeah.
which ones that might best accurately, I think, describe this. And of course, you know, this is how I'm describing myself compared to how others might describe me or whatever. So there's can always be a big difference in those things.
Yeah. What's really cool is if you have like somebody who knows you really, really well, to swap tests with them and to see how you guys report on each other, right? Like you're
Yeah,
answering the test for that person and they're answering for you.
yeah. I have a sense that other people will never truly understand me. Mhm. Can anybody truly understand anybody? Can we even truly understand ourselves? Trying to decide which one. Very few things are for me all the way to one end or the other. uh, I'll go there. I think deeply about things. Sometimes, yeah. I'm always prepared for disaster. Depends on what they mean by prepared. I know it can happen. Do I do anything for it? Rick is a really deep and complex character, says Joshua. It's important to me to avoid pain and suffering at all times. I seek out experiences that I know will make me feel happy or excited. Hmm.
Now, these shorter tests can actually be helpful for writing, though, even though I don't think they're a very good predictive model for real people. And anything that should be a model should be able to have predictive results. But for writing, where these can be helpful is if you are writing from a character conflict, plot-oriented writing style, what you can do is you can run characters through this, and then if you realize, I've got too many characters of the same type, which for a lot of people, that of the 9, that would mean even having more than one character of the same type. It would not make the conflict interesting because you just become weighted on one side and it becomes kind of clear what your answer is supposed to be. But if you have too many characters of the same type, you can realize, I don't actually need this other character. Let me either rework them into something else or just get rid of them altogether.
Yeah. Good Night Spoon says life is suffering. Alpha says being prepared for disasters, usually having emergency money on hand. Yeah, that's definitely what it can mean for a lot of people, or just the supplies or whatever. Depends on what you mean by disaster too. A Are we talking zombie apocalypse or are we just talking loss of job?
I mean, having really good wilderness skills would also be prepared for disaster because in case anything happens, you can still survive in the woods.
Yeah. I seek out new experiences
Unless the disaster is the woods on fire.
that make me feel happy or excited. I'm not sure how to answer this one. Uh, in some ways, I don't think I do. In some ways, I think I do.
Oh, just go with your gut.
I'm gonna go with the middle one.
Whatever
Uh,
your gut says, that's the answer.
I see positive in every situation. I try to see positive in most situations. I don't do it as good as I could, but I'm not afraid to tell them someone when I think they're wrong. Depends on how well I know them. Sometimes it makes it easier not knowing them. Sometimes it makes it harder. I let other people make my decisions. Well, there's one that got the far end. Goodnight Spoon says, my preparation for disaster means not being surprised or shocked when disaster happens. Yeah, that's sort of my thoughts too.
Oh, disaster is going to happen. You shouldn't let it surprise you. Oh, there's many pages. This might actually be
There's
a
seven.
test with 100 questions.
It says 7 pages. Or
Yeah.
I'm thinking that means 7 pages to seven, whatever of 7. I appreciate having rules that people are expected to follow. Yes and no. Sometimes I don't like following the rules. Sometimes I do. Depends on what the rule is, whether I think it makes sense or not.
I mean, you follow a lot of the rules in the Bible, don't you?
Yeah. I'm concerned about security more than anything else. I think about a lot of what will happen in the future. You say gut, so I don't fit
Yep, go
in
with your
with it.
gut.
I try to fit in with ordinary people. Oh no, I don't fit in with ordinary people. Good night, Spoon. Doesn't mean you have to follow them. Just other people about the rules.
Well, it does say that people are expected to follow. You would be included in those people, but that doesn't mean you or the people are following them. You're just expected to.
Yeah. There is rarely a good reason for changing things how things are done. Ooh, a good reason. I don't have any chores.
Yeah, I was gonna wait for you to select, but that's to me that's a Chesterton's fence question.
Meaning,
So Chesterton's fence is basically the idea that when you come up to a fence, there are different types of people, and maybe one type of person is annoyed that the fence is in their way, so they want to take the fence down immediately, regardless of the consequences. But Chesterton proposed that what you're supposed to do is inquire as to why the fence was put there in the first place before you even approach taking it down. And if you've gone through all of that and realize maybe that fence doesn't need to be there anymore, then you can feel free to remove the fence, but only then.
I don't even know how. I just going for the middle. I always pretty much. I don't have any chores unless I
Um,
make them for myself. So you make your mom do all your chores? No, because to. Well, I guess it depends on how you define chores. You know, I guess because usually I think of chores as what some you know young kid or a teenager has to do to earn an
oh no, no,
allowance or whatever.
you do choring your whole life, right? Chores are the things that need to be done, dishes, sweeping, stuff like that.
Yeah,
As
yeah,
an adult, you just don't get paid for it. You just have to do it anyway.
yeah. We both do stuff, and it's not defined by who does what when. So, Timothy says I try to anyways. Okay, try to whatever. Why not climb the fence? It's there for a reason, and it's a free climbing opportunity. Says, and
Oh, I
it's
agree. I've never let a fence stop me. I've had no need to take it down.
yeah.
But this was a proposal by Chesterton, who, was a well-off Englishman, and most of them didn't want to ruin their suits.
I'm always trying to be a better person. I'd say, yeah. I check carefully for mistakes and errors. Metal will have to say I don't do that with my grammar and all that.
Well, okay, okay. The real question is, do you think you do? And is it possible that you're just bad at it?
Oh, that's definitely the thing that I'm bad at it.
Yeah.
And for the grammar and that, I care, but I don't care.
Yeah.
I know it needs to be done because it's going out to people, and most people care about that stuff. But I'm not good at it, so you know what? For my art, I'm usually looking for that stuff. I check that carefully. Something that I know I can
Yeah.
control easy, or for lack of a better way of saying it, I do that, and I think I like
Like,
to.
I try to carefully open the soda box that has all my cans of soda in it, but a lot of times, even if I try to open it carefully, I just end up ripping it apart anyway.
Good night, spoon. If it didn't want to be climbed, it would not. It would have a "Don't climb" sign. I like to be around people who I can help. I don't mind being around people I can help. It can be. I don't care. I don't care either way. I'm going the middle. I feel like that I'm an important person in my social groups. No. Uh, it's important for me to be successful. And then it's how you define successfulness. The organizations I belong to would not function well without me.
What organizations do you belong to?
Right now, like just the churches I go, whatever church
Yeah,
I'm
I
in.
think it's just church, right?
My church and my comic company, which is my comic company would not function well without me. Because it is my comic company. But my church, they seem to have done well before with me, and they seem to be doing well without me. I often feel overtaken by my emotions. No, I I have always felt different from other people. I like to analyze things from every angle. Or I try to, anyways. It doesn't mean that I do. Because some angles you just can't think of. We're not all Batman or Bruce Wayne. I always have a plan for what I would do if things go wrong. Somewhat. I'll go in the middle for that. I don't have a detailed plan, but I might have a basic plan in my head that I haven't said. Avoid situations that bring up negative feelings. I seek excitement. Eh. Okay, good night, Spoon. This is taking longer than 10 minutes, but that might be because I've read the chat a few times. But I'm not going to complain. Although, we're talking about complaining right here. I am good at seeing the bright side of things when others complain. Is that... I'll go mail. I do not hesitate to call people out when behaving badly. I probably do hesitate a little bit. Billy Boob, I go along with other people what other people want. Yeah, sometimes. People should follow the rules instead of doing what they feel like doing. Depends on what the rule is. Whether it makes sense or not.
Yeah, but what if like you think it makes sense and they don't?
Yeah. And do what you want. I guess I'm gonna go in the middle there. I seek out relationships that offer me some type of protection. Yeah, I put it there. You said go with gut usually, so I can visualize what could happen in the future. Uh, I guess they mean either way, good or bad. Average people often find me a bit weird. Yep. Unfortunately, I don't hang out with too many average people. I like to do things as they've always been done. I'm always trying to find a better way to do. Well, not maybe always, but a lot of times I'm trying to find a more efficient, better way to do something. So I wouldn't say I like to do things the way they've always been done, but I'll do it that way until present it with a way that I think is better. It took me 10 minutes. But I wasn't discussing each question in a group. True. I persist until the task is done. Depends on what they mean. Well, I know what they mean. I mean, uh, yeah. This is more about content and things to talk about. Yeah, true. I spent time trying to discover the correct my faults and weaknesses.
Meanwhile, I'm making toast.
I spent time trying to discover and correct my faults and weaknesses. Yeah, I think so, a little bit. I hold myself to very high standards. Yeah, somewhat. Dang. Now I want toast, says Alpha. I gotta go back to a business meeting, so I'll be back. Okay. I am a natural caretaker. I'll probably be back in 3 hours. Well, I'll be gone in about 20 minutes. I might, if this just takes a little longer, I might do that. It might just take a little longer to finish this up. I'm a natural caretaker. I want people to admire me.
I got this honey butter by Land of Lakes too that I'm gonna spread all over it. It's good.
Of course, it's Texas toast. It's in Texas. Good night, Spoon.
No, it's not. It's not Texas toast. There's a difference between just normal toast made in Texas and Texas toast.
Yeah, I know. I'm just being a little facetious or whatever. If I'm honest, I feel that I'm a bit better than other people. I feel a deep sense of grief for what I have lost. I am an unusual sort of person. Yes, I am. I take my time to understand things more deeply than most people. Come on, do I die? Yeah. Good night, Spoon says. Nuts. Now I want a big Texas toast. And proceeds to cry. I had to take a few of these tests for my recent job interview. It's important for me to be prepared for any emergency.
But I don't have Texas toast. I do have a huge thing of garlic bread that I could heat up, which I
Garlic
might do
bread.
later.
I distract myself from any sad feelings that might arise. Sometimes not. I often make changes in my life when things get boring. I tend to be more optimistic than most people. I think I am. I'm not sure whether I am or not. I tell people what I think, even if it's hard to hear. Not as much as I'd like to. I'm trying to lower my carb intake, but toast is very good, says Alpha. I would rather follow the group than push for what I want. Well, if it's something that's already been decided beforehand, I'm usually joining the group because I want to do what they are doing to begin with. Uh, not usually in a group where we've having to decide on the spur of the moment what to do. You're the most optimistic person I know. So that's a yes. Maybe second most. Yeah, but see, the question wasn't, am I the most optimistic? The question was, I tend to be more optimistic than most people. And I guess it's what I think if I am or not. But thanks for the compliment, for sure. Um, I'm going to put that in the middle. All right, no. This is hard to tell because I don't think I'm usually in a group where we're trying to decide on the moment. And what is push for what I want? Saying it more than 2 or 3 times. I'd like some of these terms to be more well defined. I feel comfortable in organization with a clear hierarchy. Yeah, I take measures to protect myself and my loved ones from harm. Uh, uh, I make plans for many years into the future. Not really. I am usually a unique person, definitely. I dislike trying new methods. I focus on my responsibilities and duties. I read books that help me more than to be more productive or better at what I do.
Okay, I have my toast.
Okay, that would be. I do not do that or watch too many videos. I do watch the occasional one. I put a lot of pressure on my things to do things right. I take the initiative to help others, people, and make their lives easier. Eh, I put in the effort to make a good impression on other people. Yeah. I set ambitious goals for myself. Yeah. I am an important member of my social group. I don't know. Am I an important member of this social group? It's my channel, so yeah. But I'll put middle. Uh, 3 more pages. I can describe my emotions in a lot of depth and detail. Nope, definitely. I find myself to be very at an interesting place. I tend to eat a whole loaf of bread, so that's why I avoid toast. But apple butter sounds good. You're the clue of this side of the internet. So it's good night spoon. Um, I'm always aware of what can go wrong in a situation. I ain't always aware of what can go wrong, but I'm always aware that something can go wrong. Does that count?
You see,
Yes.
I'm the most important person in all of my social groups because without me, they wouldn't be my social groups.
Well, that's a good way of looking at it, for sure. I have in many ways. I have many ways of avoiding situations that get me down. Eh, I'm always up for a new adventure. I believe that things usually work out for the best. Yeah. Yes, you're important in your social group. Keyword your. I stand up for what I believe in, even if it upsets other people. I tend to. Eh, if nobody's taking the lead. I will take the lead, but because otherwise things just get into chaos usually. I dislike people who disrupt things by breaking the rules. Uh, d- uh, Cross Comics, I'm noticing you're not choosing most of the high or low answers, even when you say definitely. Okay.
That's because Rick is a very mild mannered man.
Have
It's the
I?
Canadian in him.
But have I said? How many times have I said definitely? I don't think I've said it like once or twice. And for me, it's. I just think it's. I guess it's how you define each of these, how far to the left or right they are. And for me, I guess when I say at least definitely, I'm thinking I'm at least to the whichever side I pick, the one. Maybe not all the way. I'm most important. My social groups is I make alliances with people who count. Uh, I'm often looking ahead towards what is coming next. Yeah, definitely a little bit. There, I said definitely there. But I am not the most important person in my social group, but I am the most powerful, says Goodnight Spoon. I tend to have different interests than most people. The traditional way of doing things is the best way. I'm going to go in the middle. I am a responsible and reliable person. That one for sure. I have lots of plans for how I can improve myself. Middle. I make sure that even small details are correct. I enjoy caring for others and their needs. Somewhat. I want to be a person that others can look up to. I push myself to succeed. Sometimes, but probably not as much as I think I should. So I'm going in the middle. Uh, I rarely have strong emotions. Now, again, I'd like to know how they're defining strong emotions. I know.
Do you have to beat your emotions in a fight to get them in control?
No.
Do other people need to quell your emotions?
Oh, no, definitely not. Just because I've learned how to do that over the
Yeah, I was
years.
saying, do you ever find yourself lost in your emotions?
Once in a while. Usually when nobody's around. I never truly belong in social groups. I want to learn as much as I can about how the world works. Eh. It is important for me to understand what can go wrong in a situation. I take steps to ensure that I don't feel sad or lonely. Nope. Trying new things keeps life interesting. Yes, it does. I'm an upbeat person. I am usually the only one who won't take a stand when others. I am usually the only one to take a stand when others won't. Other people have Other people have stronger opinions than I do. Eh. Everyone has a role to play in society and a duty to do their best. Yeah, I'd say so. I'm concerned with protecting what I have. Right down the middle. I'm usually right down in the middle on these. Yeah, I have some stuff that goes from one side to the other. I have a good sense of what the future holds. I am an average person with ordinary likes and dislikes. Um, I try new ways of doing things just to see if they will work. Yeah, sometimes I have a great deal of willpower. A great deal? I have some, and sometimes I have a great deal. I'm going in the middle. Self improvement is a major interest of mine. Go in the middle again.
It was nice to see your willpower break down in the middle of a question about willpower.
uh, Good Night Spoon says, I'm curious what the results will say with the majority of neutral responses. What the Okay, time for the results. See my results. Okay, your Mgram results. The graph below shows each of your scores in the 9 Mgram types. The larger a portion is, the higher your score for that. About your type 5 fives, so I guess I'm a 5, believe their resources are scarce and that they don't have enough of what they need, unlike other types who go out into the world to get more of what they need. Fives take the opposite approach and instead decide to minimize their needs as much as possible. To achieve this, they withdraw from the world, retreating into their minds to conserve their time, energy, and other resources. Yeah, it sounds a little bit like me. Good Night Spoon says, Rick, I have a confession. You didn't take this test. Why do I sometimes underestimate my ability? That's all. There's more here, but you gotta do something to unlock. And I'm not sure you can create a thing here. And then there's the full report, which they probably want you to pay to get. Although there is this thing for next page, but that's probably just more of this. Correct, I have never taken this test. I did take an Mgram test, just not this one. Yeah, it would have been nice to see a little bit more of the results. I agree, Alpha. But you can just Google 5W4 means. Where does it say on 5? What does that 5W4 mean? Well, not in the sense of what it means for this, but, you know, how are you getting the 5W4?
Enneagram 5W4, the philosopher, which is Enneagram Type 5 Wing 4. That's what the W stands for.
Okay. Did you get more than just that, or?
Yeah, it's got some traits for it. The basic fear, the Type 5s with a 4 wing are afraid of being helpless and incompetent. They tend to overcompensate for this by spending their time developing new knowledge and skills to feel useful and worthy. Their basic desire is to feel helpful and able. They express this by passionately pursuing knowledge and understanding the world. Philosophers tend to guard themselves by withdrawing from others, which may lead to loneliness. And they have a list of personality traits: being guarded or withdrawn from others, seeking new skills and knowledge, curiously explore new environments, prefer being by themselves, and fear being helpless or incapable. We have strengths and weaknesses as well, and how they like to work. There's quite a bit of stuff on here.
Yeah. But he says you can just Google 5. You're a 5, and the next strongest in your wing is 4, as it's higher than your 6. Oh, so you mean right next to, but this 9 is as high as, almost as high as the 5. Does that mean anything? That the fact that, like my 9, 8, and 7 are higher than that 4. So wouldn't it be like 5W9? Or would I just go 9W8? Or 8W9? Or 8W or 7W8? So it's not the one that, like, obviously this says I'm a 5 because I guess my 5 is slightly higher than my 9, but they look very close.
No, your 5 is way higher than your 9, if you were to actually measure that with like your fingers.
Yeah, I guess so. Especially on my monitor with it being a 40-inch monitor. Google that. It makes more sense. The 7W8. Yeah, and the 7 and 8 look like they're practically even. I guess I could Google all these different ones here. Let me write them down. See what they say. Kid. So saying 9. Here's my 9W8, and we'll do 7W8 as well. Uh, well, we are like 5 minutes past the midnight hour. So let's see. Discord. Anything you would like to promote, Metal?
Is there anything I would like to promote? Well, I mean, my commissions are open. I need money. If you want art, pencil study, inked, colored, whatever, hit me up. Tell me what you want. I'll tell you what it costs. That's how we'll do it. But also, I guess I'm going to be on the Matriarchy tomorrow night. We're going to be talking about the newsstand, like how comics used to be sold, how they are currently sold, and what the future of how comics are sold. So you can catch me over on Matt Reese's channel. And sometime this week, I don't know, maybe we'll have a movie night in the Vomitorium.
Cool, cool, cool.
Oh, wait, I did. I also wrote a review on the Vomitorium website, so I'll post that in the chat.
A review for.
Devil May Cry: Peak of Combat. It's a video game.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Yeah, I've heard of that series, The Devil May Cry.
I love Devil May Cry.
Good Night Spoon says fives are paranoid in his experience, and that's not sound like you or no sound like you. Yeah, I'm not usually paranoid. Thank Metal for coming on. Thank everybody for being in the chat. Thanks everybody for going here. Hopefully you guys all enjoyed tonight. We will be here tomorrow interviewing Stephen Hurley, I think it is, or hopefully interviewing Stephen Hurley about his book on Fund My Comic called Rin, Intergalactic Mercenary. So if you want to hear more about that, feel free to stop by. And remember to check out my shorts. Not shorts that I wear, but YouTube shorts. Because I know somebody will say something about me saying shorts and mine. Anyways, catch y'all later. Bye for now. God bless. Have a great, wonderful day, night, whatever it might be for you. Love y'all. God bless.